Well, this just in. Former All-Pro safety Ty Matthew has announced his retirement after 12 seasons in the NFL. Played for the Cardinals, Texans, Chiefs, and the Saints. Was a member of the league's 2010 All-2010s decade team. Commonly known as the Honey Badger, a good friend of Pete Prisco, won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs during the 2019 season. Finished his career with 36 interceptions. 49ers GM John Lynch said that All-Pro wide receiver Brandon Ayuk still has no timeline to return towards ACL and MCL in late October last season during a game against the Chiefs. He is currently on the PUP list to start training camp, entering the second season of a 4-year, $120 million extension. And over with the Commanders reporting to training camp today, but Terry McLaurin still doesn't have a new deal, getting frustrated about it. The veteran wideout said last week that he was getting a little annoyed with the team. Here's what GM Adam Peters had to say about the situation earlier today.
I think everybody in this building values Terry very much, and we knew that coming in, and we knew that even more after spending a year with him. In terms of where we're at, we've had conversations recently, and we'll look to have some more conversations, and we're going to do everything we can in order to get a deal done.
Let's welcome in NFL writer and expert John Breech here. So let's start with Terry McLaurin. There's a lot of things at a lot of training camps that are a little shaky right now. And this has been going on for some time, though. But now he's saying, look, I'll explore trade options. Where would you put kind of the alarm, the meter for Terry McLaurin and the Commanders right now?
Well, if I'm the Commanders, I'm definitely mildly alarmed, because when you have a player come out and say that they're a little annoyed, that means they're already a lot annoyed, because you don't have players just publicly speak against the team usually. We look at Terry McLaurin's salary for the 2025 season. It's set to be $15.5 million, which is way under the market price. The Commanders know they have to pay him more. He's not going to play under that deal. I don't think they can trade him, though. I mean, you look at the wide receiver market, you got to give him up near $30 million. I have to imagine that's what Terry McLaurin is aiming to get. But this is not a guy they can afford to get rid of. You look at the connection he had with Jaden Daniels last season. Daniels threw 117 passes to Terry McLaurin. They had strong chemistry. And then you look at Terry McLaurin's consistency. He's got over 1,000 yards in 5 straight seasons, despite playing for offenses that haven't been really that great until Jaden Daniels got there. So this is a guy they have to keep. They have to keep him happy. So I do think they eventually get a deal done. It's just a matter of when. And you want to get him in there as soon as possible, because you want him to be ready to roll in week 1.
You want all of your best players to be able to roll in week 1, including the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson. You have an article about the standoff that's been going on with him, and he posted a picture from Northern Florida on his Instagram story. He said either he forgot he was supposed to go to training camp, or his contract standoff with the Bengals has gotten so ugly he decided not to show up. You go on in your article to try to predict when this is all going to come to a head. Their owner, Mike Brown, has come out and said, look, I love the guy. Hopefully we get it done, though. So when is your prediction?
Hey, Amanda, there was a lot of optimism in the building 24 hours ago. Mike Brown, Duke Tobin both thought that Trey Hendrickson, it seemed like, might be done this week. And I think Trey Hendrickson was even optimistic, because he spent a lot of time in Cincinnati this past summer. He was in Cincinnati this past weekend. And I have to think he was there in case a deal got done. Obviously, he is now down in Florida, which is 800 miles away, which is not where you want your star defensive player to be when training camp is kicking off in Ohio. I do think both sides are still on somewhat good terms. When you ask the Bengals about the Shamar Stewart negotiations, you can see the frustration on their face. The same thing is not happening with Trey Hendrickson. It feels like this is just a matter of guarantees. The Bengals are a team that usually their standard is to only guarantee that first year of the deal. Well, if you're giving a guy a big contract, they want 2 or 3 years guaranteed. The Bengals don't really deviate away from that. They did with Joe Burrow, so they will do it for star players. I think Trey Hendrickson considers himself a star player, considering he led the NFL in sacks in 2024. I do think the sides, being on good terms, do get a deal done. I would say in the next 7 to 10 days. I think it will be sooner rather than later.
Okay, sooner rather than later for Trey Hendrickson. I'm writing it down, 7 to 10 days. You mentioned Shamar Stewart, and that could potentially go longer. So to catch people up, he's a rookie, not pleased with the rookie contract with guaranteed guarantees in it having to do if something bad happens. Mike Brown, the GM, came out and said, look, we're not going to pay you if you end up in jail. I was looking up other rookie holdouts. Joey Bosa, 31 days, ended up signing at the end of August. Michael Crabtree, though, he went all the way until October. Do you think this could bleed over into the start of the season?
Yeah, the Joey Bosa one is a good example because they redid the collective bargaining agreement in 2011, and that's when they created slotted rookie contracts. So as soon as you get drafted, you know how much money you're going to get paid. There is nothing to negotiate there. It is all about the language in the contract, and with this specific situation, it has to do with what can and can't be voided. The jail statement by Mike Brown, well, that says the Bengals want some language in the contract that says if Shemar Stewart gets arrested or if he gets suspended for something he does on the field, the Bengals can void the rest of his guarantees. Shemar Stewart is saying, yeah, well, if I sign a contract that's fully guaranteed, it needs to be fully guaranteed, and I get all that money no matter what. And so that's what this is right now. The language the Bengals are trying to use is being used by most teams around the NFL in their deals with first-round picks. So if Shemar Stewart had been drafted somewhere else, he would probably already be under contract right now using that same language. But the Bengals have not been using it with their first-round picks, so Shemar doesn't want to be the guinea pig for Cincinnati. So with these two, they're at a total impasse here. This is a stalemate. Mike Brown is frustrated. Duke Tobin is frustrated. The Bengals front office is frustrated. This one feels like it's going to be a deal that's done later rather than sooner. I will be surprised, shocked even, if Shemar Stewart's in there before that first preseason game on August 7th. So I think it draws out later than that.
Let's move on to the Patriots. Stephon Diggs has been cleared to practice after coming off that ACL injury. Now 31 years old, signed a 3-year deal with them. There has been also some off-the-field stuff they've been dealing with. What do you think we can expect from Stephon Diggs trying to slowly work his way back into this Patriots offense?
Hey, well, he obviously was healthy enough to have fun this offseason. So if you're the Patriots, maybe that's how you spin it, that, hey, he's out on a boat, he's having a good time, which means he is going to be ready to play football when he gets here. This is exactly what you want to see if you're the New England Patriots. When you look at their offense last season, it wasn't great. They don't have a lot of playmakers, but Drake May still looked pretty good despite not having an all-pro receiver out there like a Stephon Diggs. You look at that Patriots roster, there wasn't a single pass catcher who finished with more than 700 yards. There wasn't a single wide receiver who finished with more than 625 yards. So Drake May just really didn't have someone he could trust, and that's what Stephon Diggs brings to this team. That's why the Patriots gave him so much money. So now that he is fully cleared and he can get out there, he can build chemistry with Drake May. He's going to be the #1 receiver on that roster. There's just no question about that. So getting Diggs out there as soon as possible is absolutely a good thing because he brings an element to that Patriots offense that they did not have last year.
From one receiver to another, let's talk about Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins. Maybe he's gone to therapy. I have no idea. He is giving a very honest self-assessment of himself. He is saying, look, this is a pivotal season for me. I don't think I've ever been the Tyreek Hill version that I know I can be. There's been off-the-field stuff. He's saying, I'm taking responsibility. I want to show up. I want to show up to practice on time. I want to do all these things. Is it possible we could see the best version of Tyreek Hill this season that we have yet to see?
I think we could see Tyreek Hill be better than he was last season. I'm not sure about the best version because he's 31. You start to slow down a little bit once you get to that age. But there is a lot of pressure on Tyreek Hill because let's not forget, back in January, his 2024 season ended with him complaining and essentially demanding a trade out of Miami. Then he backtracked on that. And it seemed like he took a look in the mirror and said, okay, maybe some of this is my fault, and I need to start focusing on football. And so you look at what the Dolphins have done this offseason. They traded away Jonnu Smith, who led the team in touchdown receptions, who led the team in reception. So that's a big hole that's going to need to be filled, and that's where Tyreek Hill comes in. He needs to have a huge season if this offense is going to be successful. There is pressure on Tyreek Hill. There is pressure on Mike McDaniel. There is pressure on Tua Tagovailoa. Everyone in that organization is facing pressure right now because this team simply has not lived up to expectations. And I think the Dolphins should be thrilled that someone like Tyreek Hill is kind of stepping up to the plate here and saying, all right, I'm going to put this team on my back and make sure we're good this season. And now he's talking the talk. Now he has to walk the walk.
I was about to say, let's see it on the field. John Breech, we appreciate it. Glad we got your audio fixed. It sounds like you're back on Earth, not in space anymore. John Breech, part of our CBS Sports HQ crew, news highlights, scores. We have everything going on right here, gearing up for the college football season, for the NFL season. You get Big Ten Media Days going on. It is all right there.